Okay, good morning. PCT Oregon, day 23. It's Mount Hood. Slept on and off pretty good last night. It was insanely windy. The most wind I've had on trail the whole time. 10 hold stakes held. Nothing but pine cones and such fell in the tent. Only got too cold a couple of times when I rolled over and everything got untucked, but I'll say that was good. I bet altogether it's probably the longest chunk of sleep I've got the whole trail pieced together, because I woke up, flipped. Just can't stay on one side too long on that mattress, or something goes numb. Fingers or hands or arms or something. Or if any body part comes out of the blankets, it gets cold and then that wakes you up. So the plan is around a 20 today, maybe an 18, something like that. Nothing crazy. Views are pretty epic. I don't know how much longer I'll still continue to have views of Mount Hood. I feel like the rest of today, but I'm not positive. I know we do have a couple river crossings. I don't know if it's that one at some point, farther down maybe, I'm not sure. One's pretty substantial, I heard, but I don't know. Early in the morning, maybe not. So anyway, trail goes this way. Feeling good. It's a weird, I was thinking 2 more nights in the tent, and that's it for the tent, which is like weird, because that's what I've been living in, but at the same time I wish it wasn't too, because it just feels so dirty. I used the bathroom yesterday to get as clean as possible, soap the hair in the sink and all that stuff. I just still can't. Plus the clothes are pretty nasty, so it's like you feel semi-clean, cleaner than I felt, because you got soap, but then they put the dirty clothes back on. It's like, ugh. So very anxious for a shower. I'm sure once I get into town and I have 2 whole days, I might be like a little bored with it, and wish maybe I took a little more time in this section. And on a normal year, Timberline would have showers, and I could have showered up and possibly even did laundry. I don't know if they have a laundry facility that's not for guests, but possibly did laundry, and you just feel 1,000 times different. Remember leaving Shelter Cove when I picked up my friend and showered and charged and washed and food and all that. It's like, it's just a whole new outlook. Like, okay, I got 6-7 more days, no problem. But seeing as this is like day 8 or 9 of no shower, and everything you touch, just feel like you can't stay. That's the other thing too. I always like hand sanitizer, so I use it constantly to keep my hands clean. But then anything you do, any of my gear I touch, is covered in dirt. So your hands are clean, but it's like I clean my hands before making dinner. Well, then you touch your backpack, you touch the food bag, you touch the stove, you touch the propane, you touch, so much stuff. So you have to hand sanitize again before you even eat. So it's like every little thing, or just taking off your socks, there's so much dirt, or just pounding them out. The dirt gets in the air, pounding your shoes out, the dirt gets in the air, and it's on everything. So it's just a constant, like as soon as you get clean, and then you're walking in the sandy stuff, which is even worse than the dirt. So it just puffs up every step. So anything you get clean doesn't stay that way, and anything that you get clean and is at all still damp after cleaning it, then just gets a layer of dirt caked on soon after. So especially the hair, like I could not get it, soap and water and hot water even felt so nice, but you just can't get it completely clean without just a long running hot water through the hair, and conditioner and actual soap and all that stuff. Okay, so we'll flip this corner here. See if there's another view. Yeah, we'll go down there to that corner. Get one more view of Hood, and then I'll turn it off and just put in some miles. If I feel it's safe, I might film the river crossing. The one I did by Jefferson was definitely not safe. I was literally boulder hopping with just roaring rapids underneath me. Granted, I think at most they were maybe 2.5 feet deep, 3 feet deep, but moving pretty good, so you could get caught up in that. Okay, let's go out here for a view. I think. Yeah, there she is. Okay, take a photo. Maybe. Okay. So I'm gonna put her away and head down the trail. Come on. I just saw two big brown legs around the corner, and I thought there was like a elk standing on the trail or something. Just a real big dog, because I only saw the legs. I hear water again. I had one crossing this morning already. Not too bad. Not as big a jumps as the one at Jefferson. More rocks. It jumped from like, not jump, step. About 6 rocks across. Not like the one at Jefferson where it was literally jump to the other one. And when I got down there, was a bunch of people sitting having breakfast, so I just sat for a minute, let a couple other people find the best place to cross, watch them do it. There's a group of like 2 couples and using their trekking poles to help each other across, so that was kind of cool, except one trekking pole got knocked out of the last person to go across his hand and starts going floating down the river. Luckily, I was downstream and the guy was able to run downstream and grab it before it even came close to me, so I could have got it if he missed it, but he got it. So that was pretty easy peasy. It's not the same thing, not deep, but it flows pretty good, and this flow sounds pretty good. I know one of these, I was going to look it up, I meant to last night, but I forgot. One of these rivers around Hood. Oh man, I always forget the year. I feel like 2016 maybe 18. I feel like 17 was the year with a ton of wildfires. Oh, so anyway, tons of people out. I was like, I thought I got past the touristy area, but a lot of people must hike at the lodge, or park at the lodge, and then hike out to different camping spots that they're familiar with, and then hike back. Anyway, one of the years, one of the rivers at Mount Hood, or river crossings, or whatever you want to call them, some lady, I heard, took a horse across and it got stuck in the river, or caught some rocks or fell or she fell or whatever. I don't know remember all the details. If she got rushed, she was fine or hurt, but survived. But the horse got pinned and drowned, and because of location, they couldn't come in and get the horse's body out, at least at the time. So for like the next year or 2 years, and for all I know, it could still be there, wherever it is. The horse was pinned in the water because winter, and it's glacier fed water, it's super cold. It was like preserving the horse. I mean, obviously it was decomposing, but at a much slower rate because of the constant freezing cold water and cold temperatures on it. So I remember watching some hiker on YouTube or whatever, and they were talking about people getting water from the stream or from the river crossing, not knowing that like 50 yards upstream there was a dead horse pinned in the water. So it's pretty gross. I don't know what all the Sawyer would filter out of that. Maybe it's completely fine. I mean, I assume there's probably a dead animal somewhere in most streams way uphill that we don't know about. Plus animals peeing and pooping in it, and people washing their feet and socks and body and whatever. So it's all stuff we're drinking and counting on the filter to take care of. But I don't know which river crossing it is, or if the animal's still there, or if they're able to get it out, or what the deal is. I just remember that. So luckily I'm set on water. That last water crossing, by the way, was nothing, like 2 steps across, but the water's so clear, and I'm sure so cold. So it's very tempting, even though I'm full up on water, to drink a ton just to taste it, because I bet it's amazing. Anyway, filming on the uphill plus filming my shadow. Not the best technique. So you probably can't tell on the camera, but this is nuts. This loose rock is like straight down, straight up. So very careful footsteps. There was a sketchy part by Ashland that was a little bit like this, but it was very short. And I had like outcroppings, little corners like this. If you can see, there's a guy down there crossing, or lady crossing the stream. It's a big old waterfall up there. It's cool. Looks like they're finishing up their water and get more. Okay, let's focus here. I feel like with all these water sources, it's all like straight glacier fed. I should pound some more water, or some more water back. Just when we have it. It's a pretty wet section the rest of the way, I think, besides the climb down. Well, I think even that has a few. I know the old Eagle Creek route obviously ran down the length of Eagle Creek, so you just about had water the whole way, but that's been closed since the fire. Whatever year that was. Okay. Coming up on that and step in. Survive this side, let's hope I do the same on the other. Just some perspective on that other side. Those 2 little people. But it is just sheer besides the trail. So anyway, about halfway up the other side, well, as far as I can tell, there was a guy down at the bottom, and it's happening more and more now. It's crazy. So when I first start, you get a lot of hikers. Oh, day hiking. Nice. And they see your pack. Oh, no, it must be section hiking. Yep. That's my spiel, is that I'm section hiking Oregon. And they always ask where I start, the border, and what day, that kind of stuff. And I notice the farther I get along that obviously the day hiking thing, no one asks that with the backpack, at least the size it is. But less and less asking section hiking as, are you Nobo or Sobo? Meaning, are you going northbound on the PCT or southbound? And are you through hiking? Which now is the norm. That's the lead in. They ask, are you through hiking first? And I feel like it has to be the combination of the dirtiness, the beard, the dirty shirt, everything looking all dusty. I was a little bit, or a lot, I don't know, bigger when I started. So no one expects anyone that's come all the way through California to be too heavy. So I guess I'm starting to look the through hiker part. It's kind of sad too to say that. Not that it's bad to section hike. Some people, that's just the way you have to do it. And I think it's more important that you get out and do whatever you want to do than it is the exact way. It's like you have to be in a very specific set of circumstances to have the time and the want, and energy, and the situation to do a full through hike. And some people, have too many other things going on in their life, not in a bad way, just they want multiple things. It's not just a through hike. I mean, if you hit it at the right age, you're fresh out of high school or fresh out of college or whatever and have no other responsibilities, I think it's great. But trying to juggle it with family, with spouse or whatever, partner, and then if you have kids on top of that, people do it, but it's been so hard just Oregon, being away from my kids for 3-week stretches. And when we tried to do the whole thing at the beginning of March, it wouldn't have been as hard to be away from them because it would have been shorter stretches, but it would have been a much more stressful time on my wife corralling the kids in a little trailer and navigating and all that stuff. And then when I show up to rest, I don't know how much rest it would be, because you gotta give her a break or she can't continue on. So it would have been, I'm not saying we couldn't have powered through and we wouldn't have done it. If we put our mind to something, we can do it. I'm just saying it would have been a very special situation to be able to get through all this. And it's even a special situation with this, to get through all this. But anyway, my original point there, I go off on a tangent again. My original point is that, no disrespect to section hiking, but it's like I want to say, like, I wanted to be a through hiker, That's how it started. I wanted to. Now that I've done all of Oregon, I don't know. I'm very, okay, once again, don't get ahead of yourself. It's a good way to trip and break a leg in the last 50 miles. Now that I'm close-ish to being done with Oregon, very satisfied with that. And I don't know how I would have handled the whole thing for that much time. I mean, Oregon is like this perfect size. Washington is like this perfect size. California is just so long. And granted, you got different sections, the desert, the Sierra, and Northern Cal, so it's kind of divided as if it is 3. And I do feel sad to miss the rest of the desert because it was really beautiful in its own way, and same thing with the Sierras. I also really like the fact that the Sierras are kind of unexplored, are unexplored to me. And as time goes by and the boys get older, then that's something I can explore with them if they share the interest. or as the boys get older, if they don't share the interest, but they're able to, stay with my sister and brother-in-law, or get old enough to stay on their own somewhere or whatever, then maybe that's something that me and Megan can explore together, which would be super fun, because so much of the PCT dream, or the idea of it, started with both of us. We both kind of loved a lot of the ideas. The reality is definitely harsher. I still love it, but definitely have a better grasp of the scope, which that's not of any fault of my own. I mean, you can tell yourself 6 months worth of hiking 1,000 times until you're doing it. You can't mentally grasp what that means going on in your head, or what it does to your body, or what all you miss because of it. So, anyway, it is kind of both of our dreams, or both of our, we love this idea, but the reality of both things, and I think she had a better realization of the reality. There was pieces of it that she really liked, like going out there and living off your backpack and whatever, but definitely in much shorter stretches, not in the through hiking or even long section hiking mentality, more like 2 or 3 days max between a shower. And she said before, it's worth the wait to carry deodorant and feel clean. So I want to find a way to incorporate what I'm doing into what something she would enjoy, and then we can both go out when the boys are a little older, either with the boys or without, or whatever, or maybe with my nephew, or some combination of family, whoever enjoys it, and go out and nitpick some very specific sections and do 2 and 3 day trips. I think it'd be a lot of fun. And it's a lot more fun to do it with someone now that I've done this. I like the experience, but I loved having my friend with me. I loved having my dad with me. I love the stopping in the trail towns, socializing with the other hikers. Or I guess it's not really trail towns in Oregon, it's more like the resorts. I loved the amount of times my parents came and picked me up and we stayed and spent time together. I loved my boys and wife coming down, all the days we spent in Redmond. I love the combination of it. I'll talk more about that at the end. I don't know. I just feel this has gone so well. So anyway, 8 tangents previously. Still have the Sierras and all that stuff unexplored to do. I'd love to do that down the line, and now it'll be fresh for me and whoever goes with me. There's always more fun. Sorry, more through hikers. That I still have all that unexplored. So it's kind of a bonus. So even though I missed it on the through hiking experience, and I'm not a through hiker, it kind of started with I'm a Oregon section hiker. That's like a worst thing to be, and you kind of don't want to admit it, to now something that I'm really proud of as I near the end, because that's legit. And I don't care what anyone says about Oregon being flat. I swear. That is so relative, and it is not flat, and it's based on your experience. And I think I said before, if you just hike through all of California, if anyone did, whole PCT in California, then everything else, maybe some sections in Washington, but everything else is cake. There's nothing wrong with that. That's true to your experience. But to say, judging Oregon just on its own, that it's flat, is not accurate. Even if you're SOBO, you're coming from Washington, same thing. There's a lot more up and down in Washington. So in comparison, also, Oregon is flat. But we're not looking at it as a comparison. That depends on where you've hiked before. If I come in like I did and just do Oregon, and all I've heard is Oregon is flat, what if I'm, late 60s, early 70s, late 70s, and gonna do it? And it's like, I want to do the PCT, but gotta pick the best section, and Oregon's flat. I think you're in for a rude awakening. Not that there aren't people that old who can do it, but it's just not true to their experience that they're starting. So yes, to a through hiker, SOBO or NOBO, Oregon is the quote unquote flattest or quickest. But if you don't quantify it as that, or qualify it, whichever word is correct for there, that's not really true to Oregon, because it's far from flat. So yeah, a ton more hikers today. Lots of Sobo through hikers. I don't know where their bubble is. It feels like, I thought most of them started in June. And so that would mean they'd be coming through Oregon in July. And we're coming up on September. I know some of them start in July, but even then, so it feels like this should be the tail end. Coming out of Washington. I don't know, the year's funky, and I haven't done as much research or watched as many videos on Sobo hikers, so maybe this is about normal or where the bubble is, I'm not sure. Anyway, so it's been a cool transition to be proud of being an Oregon section hiker instead of just like, oh, but I still feel like I need an asterisk. Like I'm a little bit different kind. Not in a superior way in any way, because I only did 77 miles, but the want was there. I mean, we did so much. Like, we sold the house, we sold the cars. It wasn't just for that. We were moving to Washington anyway. That was the end game goal. But we did so much for it. Like like an atypical, actually, through hiker would have to do to make it happen. So it sucks to not be able to share that, and it sucks to sometimes just be like, 77 miles. But it all got us to where we're supposed to be at the right timing. Got me here at the right timing to do this. This has been amazing. Got us up there at the right timing, up to Washington to get some things in motion up there, which has been just perfect. So, and we had a fun time with the trailer. Got to travel back in it, see a lot of states. Kind of learned that towing a trailer is not our favorite. I mean, we can do it, but it's not our favorite thing. Also, I think if the kids were a little bit old, well, Atlas was fine. If Phoenix would have been like 2 or 3 years older, 2 years older, completely different story. But you're just protecting him from everything at that age, and he's just on everything. And there's no like, here, sit him down. Like now he's at an age, or closer to, where it's like, here, sit down and watch this, and he'll be a little more content for a little bit longer, or play with toys. Let's not climb on everything all the time. But we had our fun times at the RV and took our time coming back. So I don't regret it. It's just timing. I feel like that's been the key to this whole thing since we started, is that embrace the timing of it, embrace that we're right where we're supposed to be when we're supposed to be there, and learn to be happy whatever the moment is, and try not to be, I think we're going to have an epic view. Try not to be unsatisfied with where you're currently at. Because how could you be unsatisfied? Look at that. Alright. Look at that. Ooh, that's St. Helens. Let's see. I'll have to turn down the brightness. That didn't really help. Well, it's there. I think you can see it. I don't think we can see the gorge yet. I think it's still on the other side. Wow. Kind of looks like at the Oregon coast, which I miss like crazy, by the way, since we moved far into eastern Washington. I think I'm still on trail. Look at that. There's the main event. He's frozen. He's just taking in the view. Now he's giving me the stink eye. Okay, I'll leave you alone. Oh, there he goes. So, I don't know where the trail went. I'll figure that out. Big old waterfall down there. Must cross down there somewhere. She is beautiful on every side. Check out this rock. I don't know how to give it perspective. It is insane. There are trees growing out of the top of it. It is just, here, I'll go back. In the middle of the woods, it is just massive. I mean, not that this helps, but that's how tiny my hand is. Look. Like, look at that. The biggest lone standing rock I've ever seen. I mean, when I stand next to it, the top of my head is like right there. That's crazy. Okay, it's a little windy, so you might not be able to hear me, but besides being right at Hood, this is probably our best view of the mountain the whole time, the whole hike, and gigantic power lines, which you can probably hear. So ridiculous. Like, pick a different spot. Like, it's just crazy to me. But excellent view, just awful picture. I head up a little higher, maybe there's one over the top, it doesn't look like it. So, despite what we've done, the hood part of it is pretty awesome. Yeah, not much better up here. I might be able to edit the shot a little on top and bottom. I mean, the shot is epic, just power lines. And I totally get it. Like, you know, I don't totally get the power lines. I totally get the fact that I'm on a man-made trail and that's why I have access to it. And I totally get that I resupplied at a grocery store, and I totally get that I bought all my packs, you know, and stuff from a store or retailer. So it's like, I get there needs to be man-made things in order for us to have access to this. I also get if these weren't here, this probably wouldn't all be clear cut, which means it's more trees. There might not be a view, but who knows, right here, you know, in this exact spot, there might not be a tree that ever grows. Boom, and we have a straight out view. I've seen plenty of times where that's happened. So my point is not that we obviously don't need power and power lines. It's there's got to be a better way to do this. I don't know, solar roadways for one, but don't get me started on that. No, it's just a pain. Like, such an epic shot. Probably my absolute. I can't see another spot topping it. I mean, maybe if I go up here and there's a gap, but it's just such an epic shot of hood and power lines. So there's a way for us to exist in balance without, you know, ruining the beauty of it. So that's all I'm saying, is find the way to exist in a balance. Because I get, we made a trail. That was not here. That's not natural. But I'm okay with that. We need it to get people to the beauty, to be able to see it. We can't all just go mountaineering through the forest to see the things that we want to see, to have the respect for nature. So we need to see it to have the respect, but there just has to be a line where we just say, okay, no, we're not doing that, not here, not in this area. And it's like this close to hood. I don't know what these exactly are for, but it's like, there's got to be another way. Like, can't we go around? Can't we go one ridge line over? Can't we run down the highway? Can't we run them under the roadways? Under the solar roadways? Anyway, rant over. But if you look past the power lines, it's quite amazing. Oh, check out this rock face. Oh. Camera never does it justice as far as angles and steepness. It's pretty crazy though. I feel like we got one of these view corners. Maybe not here. That's pretty good. A little bright. There. So I think I'm about 6.5 miles out. So I'm gonna be close to, I can't remember exactly what it was, 14. Done for the day. Lots of downhill. Got some really serious uphill too. Not as much, but every time you go to do any kind of river crossings, have you done 3, 4? Anyway, more hikers, without a doubt. The most people I've seen, even compared to Crater Lake. Crater Lake had a lot, but as far as on the trail, so many people today. Oh, I did stop took the alternate, went down to Ramona Falls. That was pretty cool. It's a lot bigger in person. I've seen it in videos 1,000 times. Everything's bigger in person. Camera doesn't quite do it, but yeah, it's huge. So that was cool. I had lunch there, but tons of touristy people. You can always tell when you're close to someplace people can drive to, because the trail gets wider, and usually you see more trash on it, and you definitely see more TP off in the bushes to the side of the trail, which is unfortunate. But I think it's a combination of people that aren't out in it don't appreciate it as much. It's more of like, I do it to come see the falls and that's it. Not just the appreciation of everything. And also the education. Like, I feel like until I got more and more into backpacking and watching videos and whatever, I mean, obviously you respect nature, but to what degree the leave no trace stuff, you know, packing your TP out and stuff like that. And I know that's a debated subject, but I'd never even heard of that. So yeah, just the education of it. I feel like some of the people that are just like weekend, I come out and do a little 1.5-mile hike, see a waterfall, take a picture, sweet. Some are just lazy and don't care about it. It's a touristy thing like Disneyland, and I'll throw my trash wherever. Some, I think, is just not educated well about how that can affect the environment around you, and what exactly leave no trace means, and how, you know, taking the side trail to cut down on doing the switchbacks. Yes, it's a lot easier, but a lot of those places are like restoration. They're trying to get the stuff to grow back because people have done that, and once people have run a trail enough times, you know, like even if the PCT stopped being traveled for like 100 years, there'd still be a path here because we've just trampled it down. I'm not saying that's bad, but if you do it on a side path or through Jefferson, there's like 1,000 side paths to every lake, and everyone kind of went their own way. So just to get down to one lake or pond, it's like 8 different trails, and eventually there's no green because everything's just trail, or the majority. And that's why they're talking about limiting the Jefferson wilderness, being more strict because of that. So we just need to be better and educate better.